What's up, guys? It's Bye here with another Rise of Kingdoms videos. With Osiris Leaks going on right now, I think a lot of teams are like looking for a new strategy, maybe some new skills that they haven't discovered yet. So in today's videos, I will be talking about one of the new skills that I've seen being used a lot recently in some of the Osiris Leaks match, and I think it's one of very good skill in my opinion, and I think a lot of team will most likely gonna be using them a lot, and we're gonna see this skill being used a lot more often as well. So the skill I want to talk about today is the Heaven Grace. If you look at the skill description here, heal a portion of all allied troops, slightly wounded units, healing factor 1000 per second for 20 seconds. So the total healing is 20,000 and the cooldown is 200 seconds, which is about 20 minutes. So, why is this skill so good? So, first, let's compare this skill to its alternative, cheaper version, so to see if it's better. So another skill that also to do with like healing is a Manning Pouch. It costs 2 energy, and you can heal some slight wounded unit, healing factor 5000 up to only 30 alliance troop here. So only 5000. 2 energy cost for 5000 compared to 4 energy cost but 20,000. So the energy cost is double, but the healing amount is 4 times more. And you can heal all allies. So you don't have to select a certain area so that you can only target those 30 marches. But it's gonna heal everybody in your alliance that is currently in Osiris League match. And 20,000 healing total. There will be a shorter clips later on showing you guys the effect of this skill. So let's talk about this skill right here. So like, when can you use this skill, right? So let's say if like your alliance like doing a lot of fighting, let's say you are like protecting one of the structure and then you fight in that structure, and then a lot of your marches are below below like 50% HP per se, and the time for the arc spawning is like what, 2 minutes left. You will not have the time to return those marches back to the city to refresh them. So instead, you're gonna have to bring those marches to the center right away. And this skill can work for all your marches there. So it can. So one thing you can use this skill for is that, okay, you have a whole bunch of marches that low HP, regroup them and heal everybody before you go into the big fight for the arc in the middle. Or if all of your marches are like full HP, you go into the fight 10-20 seconds after the big fight in the middle. You can cast this skill and the heal can kick in, and everybody in your alliance going to get 20,000 health over 20 seconds, which is tremendous. Uh, like, so let's go and take a look at how much this skill can actually help healing, like how much slightly wounded unit it can bring back to help you fight in the battlefield here. So let's go and take a look at the videos that we did some testing here in DN1. Crazy. Look at the amount of heal. Look at the amount of heal we're getting here. That was 20 seconds. That's crazy. Okay, so like, if you look at the video test things that we did, you can see that like we were able to bring back a lot of like slight wounded units from some of the marches there. So like one march which had 53k talent troop, it became 111k. One march at 110k troop, it become 162,000k. And one march at like 4k and it become 50k. So let's say if you are like using 50% arm expansion and you cast this skill, it can bring back up to like 60,000 troops. So like 60,000 of 200,000, that is 20%. So this skill can heal up to 20% of, it can bring back up to 20% of your march back to life. And you can use those marches for fighting at the center. So like, I definitely think this skill is a very good skill. And like we see a lot of people, we see a lot of team using To The Death. I think To The Death is being, I would say To The Death is overused. I would say. Uh, I like, to be honest, like I would prefer, like I would definitely pick. So like To The Death costs 6 energy, right? And Heaven Grace only costs 4 energy. And other skill is Mystical Formation, 2 energy here, or Word Drum, 2 energy here. So like, to be honest, I would definitely pick Heaven Grace plus Mystical Formation over To The Death. Because To The Death only lasts 1 minute. And like a lot of teams, they can pull back when you're using your To The Death. And you might not be able to utilize it very, very much. And the 1 minute can go by very, very fast. On the other hand, Mystical Formation can last up to 3 minutes. And if you have the heal, Heaven Grace can bring back up to 20% of your total marches there. So instead of you having 30 marches, if you casting Heaven Grace, you can have a 20% times 30. Actually, because Heaven Grace doesn't have a limit of like how many marches are there. So like the more marches you have at the center, the more benefit this skill will bring to your troop at the center. So this is, oh my god. So let's say if you are like a very, very like center arc focused team, and you always bring like 60, 70 marches to the center, this skill, Heaven Grace, can work a lot better. Like, because To The Death only work, can only like can only benefit up to like 30 alliance member, right? So like that like what, 6 member bringing 3 marches to the center, so only 6 players getting that buff. But if you have a 20 player, let's say if you send like, let's say the last arc is super crucial, and you send 20 players, everybody with like 5 marches to the center, this skill can work up to 20 times 5, 100 marches, and everybody gotta get that heal. I think Heaven Grace is underrated before. Like, I did not see a lot of team using Heaven Grace before, but now to think about it, this skill is OP. This skill is OP, and I think if your team trying to like advance further in Osiris League season, I would definitely think you should give this skill a try. Do some testing with it, and to be honest, with the 6 energy cost, I would definitely pick Heaven Grace and Mystical Formation over To The Death. Especially when you bring more than 30 marches to the center. Like if your team is heavily focused center, you always bring a lot of marches to the center. Heaven Grace can work very, very well. Like that 20,000 heal is just amazing. Anyway, guys, I just want to make a quick video here to possibly start a discussion here about the Heaven Grace skill here. Like, let me know if your alliance have tried the skill, and let me know if it work for you guys or not. But like, I definitely, this skill can work very, very well if your team is heavily focused at the center, because there is no limit on how many marches it can heal. It heal everybody, and the more marches you bring to the center for that arc fighting, it can help. It can also help the people who's like guarding the structure as well. So like, it's not just helping the people fighting at the center. Let's say you have a whole bunch of market fighting at one of the structure trying to defend it. Let's say your market like below 50% or like something, you're losing some troops there. This skill can help those market healing back some troops as well, and those market can go and continue on fighting, or can also send those market back into the building to help reinforce the structure more. I think it's an amazing skill here. To be honest, for energy cost, for that amount of healing, it's just crazy. Let me know in the discussion what you guys think. Thanks for watching the video, guys.